think we will do the sadhana, and then we will accumulate the mantra. And so during the sadhana, as you have noticed, when we actually do the practice, it is always contained with the three different sections. The first part of the sadhana is known as a preliminary practice, or in other words, preparation practice. So preparation, actually word says itself, right? Kind of like you are getting prepared. So you just kind of like preparing yourself, and then kind of like getting ready, and then settling. For the preparation, it is always important that when we prepare for the practice, we prepare ourself, right? When we prepare ourselves, so there is a kind of like a physical preparation and mental preparation, and there's also emotional preparation and also spiritual preparation, energetically prepared. So there are many actually, like when we prepare, there are so many different layers of preparations. And so when, like before we actually go into the chanting is also a sound, right? So it is like you actually create sound. So somehow it is also, the chanting is designed to prepare verbally. So there is kind of like many times in the traditional Tibetan Buddhists, we actually say Lu Nga Yi. Lu Nga Yi means, Lu means physical body, and Nga means speech, your your verbal thing. And then mind means, in Tibetan we say Sem, so Yi, like a Lu Nga Yi. So the like, of course, before we actually start the chanting, the first, before you verbally prepare, you have to prepare physically, right? So physically, you settle. So it's just kind of like in the kind of explanation, detail, they always say that Lu, Lu means your body need to prepare. So how your body need to prepare is you just kind of like, you cannot just kind of lazily laying down. If you're just kind of like putting your, like laying down and just kind of like not in a respectable sort of like posture, which means your body is not like ready or prepared. So you always kind of put your body together in a posture that to show that you are ready. So you are ready to engage into this practice. So, like it is, even though it is not mentioned in the text, we should always know them. There is a preparation, like you are preparing, yourself physically, in a kind of like a spiritual posture, or kind of like a respectable sort of like a posture. And then, just kind of like many times, a different tradition always have a different way of respectable posture. In Tibetan, many times it is kind of like when you sit and then when you fold your hand, that's a respectable, right? So there is a kind of culturally, you just kind of like a respectable, sitting in a respectable kind of position by folding your hands and palms together at your heart. Even though when you do this, it's just a small gesture. It's a small changes, right? It's sort of like your body is, you shift your body to change into different position, different posture. So that means, yes, I'm ready. That's why many times, when we prepare something, like we always put our hands together, So just kind of putting our hands together, like there is some sort of like a very interesting energy, this like and also to the heart level. So because somehow it's just kind of like it looks so simple, but yet it just kind of like somehow centralize the energy. You are centralizing it. You're centralizing all your energy, sort of like you put you actually centralize all your energy and getting ready to take off, right? To take off somewhere, you have to put together, right? If you don't put it together, then nothing will go. So that's physically kind of getting ready, like that. And then kind of like mentally getting ready is a part of this refuge and the bodhicitta. So it is like a mentally like a ready is like the refuge is like when you actually starting to say Sangye Chodon Tsoye Chonam La Chanju Pado Dani Kyapsu Chi, sort of like what you are saying here is I go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, right? So interestingly, when it comes to the English translation, actually it is bringing interesting thing. Like in Tibetan, when we say Sangye, like the first word that you actually begin with the Sangye, like Buddha, right? And the second line has a Chanju Pardu Da Ni Kyapsu Chi. But there is an interesting stress there. The word itself is saying Da Ni. Sort of like in English, actually, it comes the first word actually when you are saying here is you are saying, I go for refuge. So now it is just kind of like here, it contains so many interesting meaning there. When you say, I, who are you referring to? Well, who is that I? That you are saying that I am going to go to refuge. Which I? Right? There are so many different dimensions, different layers of I, who we consider I, right? So there's kind of like, there's an I that is related to this physical body, this, like I, this physical I, are we talking about that? Or kind of there is some sort of like an emotional layer of I, right? There's somebody who is there, emotional I. And then there's a mental I, which is the idea of you, who you are, you think you are. And then there's kind of like a I that is related to your energy, right? The karmic kind of like a related your I. And then there is also an I that is more spiritual on a very deep layer, deep level. There's an I. Or there's kind of like then there is also this I is kind of like a emptiness layer of I, right? And there's like a Mingde Shazam, just simply merely imputed by label, but really doesn't exist I, which there's like so many different, meaning. So this is a very interesting, like from the beginning, when you actually say this word, I go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, that shapes what kind of practice you are going to do. Right? See, who actually, this, you are saying that you are going for, refuge, right? So this refuge that you are going, then there is if you really look into it, there is a narrator, the I that is narrating everything, right? There's a narration. And then the narrator, that I, is narrating and creating one character, right? There's a character of you, who you are. But that is actually narration. It is narrated by some very interesting, deep level exist, the narrator. So this is a very important thing, that who are you referring when you say, I go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha? The character I or the narrator I? Many times we don't differentiate that, right? It's just kind of, it exists in us, so mixed up. Narrator is a character is a narrator, right? We don't make the distinction. There's we don't know. So it's just kind of, on a very beginning, when we do the practice, this is very important, that who you referring. And then, where are you taking the refuge? The Buddha, what do you mean by Buddha? I am going for refuge to Buddha. What do you mean by Buddha? What do I understand? What is Buddha? Then Dharma. What is Dharma? What is Sangha? Just kind of like and then the object of the refuge, which is kind of like the refuge that is the kind of like, we call the causal refuge, object of refuge, and then resultant refuge. So these are like so many, if you practice the sadhana in a very, proper way, it just takes one lifetime to really properly do the first line. I go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. To be really completely doing that, it will take not only one lifetime, many lifetimes to be able to do that properly. So these are just kind of like, even though it is just a one short chanting, Sangye Chodam, Soje Chonamla, Chanju Pardo, Dani Kyapsu Che, within these two sentences, there are so many profound meaning is there. Even just the one word, I, go, going. How do you go? How do you go? What is meant by going? Right? I go for refuge. Refuge, what is meant by refuge? What is the refuge means? Kyamdro, in Tibetan we say kyapdroa. Kyapsudroa. Kyap. Going kyap. Sort of like you actually, when you go for a refuge, you're saying that Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha is my refuge. They are the one who is going to save me, right? That's what the refuge means, right? They are going to save me. So how is this Buddha, Dharma, Sangha is saving you? How is going to save you, right? Is it a part of you, or is it a different entity from you, right? Is it a different entity? Or is it like the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, like somewhere in the deep sky blue, there is a beautiful castle, a shining Buddha, Dharma, Sangha there, up in the sky, is ready to save you, saying that, okay, son or daughter, come, I will save you, right? And take you back into the big, door, and saying that, okay, I opened the door for you, now you come in, you are safe. You are saved. Is it something like that? See, this is something we should know from a very kind of basic understanding of how the refuge, the object of refuge, when we go for refuge, the refuge object is going to save us, and how it is going to save us. Right? Is it like they will, like, it is not like you are drowning in the water and somebody throw a rope or some kind of things to, make you hold and then pull you from the water. Is it like that? Maybe it's not like that, the way it is saving. But somehow, our lack of confidence that we always want someone else to save us, right? And it's a good idea. If there is someone out there to save us, that's a wonderful, right? But unfortunately, Buddha said, "Tanyi dage goyingi." You are your own savior. You are the one who is going to save you. No one else is going to save you. That's a pretty strong statement made by Buddha, right? So then that will be a little bit disappointing to think that, oh, there's no one to save me. Then, but it is a good idea. It gives us some kind of relief if there is a savior, right? Some savior out there, living in the, somewhere up there. And then, many times, even in the Tibetan Buddhism, we think that, okay, the Lama will save us, right? And, but I don't know. I had this very interesting time, one time, this, one actually nun came to me, it was in Arizona, and said, Rinpoche, I am a sinner. I'm not a good person, and I'm so afraid that I will go to hell. So please save me. Can you save me from going to hell? And I was like shocked, actually. What? Who tell you that you're going to hell? Right? Or how did you think that you are going to hell? You already made a decision? If you already made a decision, then you are the one who made the decision. Maybe people can say many things. People can say, you will go there, you will go there. The final answer depends on what you decide. Right? If you decide that you are going to be miserable, then you made the decision. And you made the decision that you are going to be miserable, and that means you are getting ready to become a miserable person. So you actually you face yourself into that direction, and you are going there, and who made you go there? You yourself made it. That's how, how we look at Tanyi Dage Goengi. So, you are the one who is going to save you. You are the one who is going to, if you are going into a miserable direction, then it is you. That's what it is. So anyway, this getting preparation is very important. So let us, do this by just kind of, I give you a little bit of information and just try to really think, when you say I go for refuge to Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, who you are referring to and how you are going to refuge, because it is going to take a long time to explain everything.